year, Research Autism this year, of being involved in the planning of the speaker programme here in the Autism Matters Theatre. We've had a really thought-provoking and topical first day here today, and I'm looking forward to today. There's a number of speakers today who I think are going to be excellent, and I'm really looking forward to hearing them speak today, so I hope you'll be able to stay and listen. Before I go on and talk a little bit more, I just want to announce a change to the programme, to the next session. Unfortunately, Michael McCreed is not able to attend because of family illness, but I'm really delighted to say that we've got Kevin Healey joining us today. Kevin is a campaigner, an autism campaigner. He's on the spectrum himself, and he campaigns particularly on adult bullying. So I'm really pleased and delighted that he'll be going on after me. So just a little bit about Research Autism. If you've not heard of us, we're on stand D7, so do feel free to go over and visit. But we were founded in 2004, specifically in response to appeals from people with autism and their families who are seeking independent and unbiased information about autism treatments, therapies and approaches. In our first 9 years, we've developed a robust reputation as the trusted voice in autism research in the UK. This reputation has its foundations in the delivery of a targeted programme of research on key issues of everyday concern, such as employment, bullying, self-injury, challenging behaviour, and others. It's also got its foundations in the continual provision and development of our online information service, which is delivered via our website, researchautism.net. And this provides vital information about hundreds of autism interventions and therapies, and it receives about 25,000 visitors each month. So it's telling me that there's a massive need out there for really clear, independent and impartial information about what treatments and therapies there are, and also some evaluation of those treatments and therapies. And one of the key things for Research Autism is that we steer away from the causes and cures agenda. That's not what we're about. We're about providing information and conducting research which really helps people make a difference to their day-to-day lives and impacts on the issues that matter to them the most. I think part of our success has been down to the fact that we've got such strong ties within the autism research community, but also within the autism community itself. Because one of our main aims, one of our key ethoses really, is to make sure that the voice of people with autism is reflected in the research field. So when we set our research priorities, it's actually not researchers who do that or Research Autism that does that, but actually it's about we listen to the views of people with autism and their families in terms of what are their priorities for research. So in short, Research Autism has built its position in the UK as the only charity exclusively dedicated to addressing the issues of identification, intervention and inclusion in autism. And with these foundations now in place, and as the trusted voice, we believe that we need to make a difference and we need to focus our resources in 4 key areas. And that's what we're aiming to do over the coming 5 years. The first is an even better understanding of the needs and priorities of the autism community. The second is making sure that there's high quality and evidence-based research, which is happening. The third thing is making sure there's clear outputs from the research that's delivered, not research that just sits on a shelf and does nothing, but actually that there's something quite meaningful that comes out of that. And the fourth thing is making sure that we effectively disseminate research outputs to the different audiences that need that information. I think we've still got a long way to go to understand autism and how best to help those that live with the condition. And that's why research and the communication about the best available interventions and treatments is so critical. Our work is so vital to drive the research agenda, to develop treatments and therapies that really genuinely meet the needs of those people living with autism. Last week, I'm really pleased to say that we launched a major report which maps autism research activity in the UK, both in the UK and internationally, comparing how much has been spent, the areas in which funding has been, and the areas on which funding has been focused. But alongside this, the research also provides the results of a survey of the research priorities of autistic people and their families. And I'm sure you won't be surprised to learn that what's being funded today is very different from what people with autism want to see being funded. And that's why over the coming weeks and months, Research Autism will be leading the way in pushing for this imbalance to be redressed. We really want to be seeing meaningful translational research that has an impact on people's day-to-day lives. And we're going to be working with funders and government and really making sure that they listen to what's come out of that report, so that when they set their priorities and when they develop their policies, it's focused on what's necessary and what's needed. As I said, if you'd like to know more about our work and our plans, please do visit our information, our exhibition stand, which is in D7, which is opposite Hub 2. And I'm around all day, so if you feel like you need to ask any questions, I'm very happy to answer those. So thank you very much for that. And as I say, I'm delighted to introduce Kevin Healey. I think Kevin is probably going to do a better job of introducing himself than I am. But other than to say that he's an ardent campaigner in the autism and bullying field, and he's going to be talking to you a bit about his work. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Deepa. Thanks very much for that. Can anybody hear me okay? Yeah? No? Can you hear me now? Is that better? So, a bit like Madonna, but I haven't got the tones. That's what Andrew's just said. That made me laugh. Good morning, everybody. How's everybody today? Yeah, good? Excellent. Right, so, So I've got lots of sensory issues going on at the moment. This really needs to be closed. Have you got an adult mic?
Yes.
Can you hear me now? Yeah? Everybody can hear me? Can you hear me in the back? Yes, excellent. Right, so my name's Kevin Healey. I'm a campaigner. I've been campaigning now for 12 years. Done lots of campaigning for autism services, diagnostic services around the UK. Done lots of campaigning over the last 10 years for Johnny Shaw, who's an inspirational mother, and she's obviously campaigning for a son to get Gary freed, so he didn't get extradited over to the US. And you're reading from Johnny Sibbett earlier on, and she's a phenomenal woman, and I'm sure you really enjoy her talk. So like I say, I've been campaigning now for 12 years, since I got diagnosed. I was diagnosed at the age of 27. I've got an identical twin brother who's severely autistic. He's non-verbal. So he's at one end of the spectrum and I'm at the other end of the spectrum. Obviously he's non-verbal, I think I make up for him. So I do a lot of talking. Sometimes people can't shut me up. So I probably do make up for him as well. But it's really hard when you're an identical twin because, obviously I can't communicate to my twin and he can't communicate back to me, so I find that extremely difficult. I'm finding out myself in a situation now where I've been campaigning for other people for the last 12 years. I'm now in a situation now where I'm actually campaigning for myself, and over the last 2 years I've gone through sheer hell. That's the only way I can explain it. I've just gone through the last 2 years has been the most horrendous for me. It's just been absolutely unbelievable. In April this year, I launched the anti-autism bullying campaign. I know for myself that there's different bullying campaigns around the UK at the moment. Jodie Marsh, who's campaigning quite a lot in schools. She's been around schools. I know Anna Kennedy, she's doing bullying in schools as well. And also you've got Shai Keane, who's an author, and she's working alongside Dr. Sarah Payne, and they're campaigning on her son, because her son was 12 years old, and he was gay, and unfortunately he killed himself through bullying. So there's lots of bullying going on at the moment for younger people, younger children, but there's no campaigning going on for adults. So when me being a victim of being bullied, I thought, I've got to really do something here. So I set up this campaign in April, and as you can see here, on the far left-hand side of the screen, we've got Dr. Pam Spur, who's the psychologist on Big Brother bit on the side if you watch that programme. Then next to Pam, we've got Alex Reid. Then next to Alex Reid, we've got Holly Matthews, myself, and we've got Debbie Towie from The Only Way is Essex. Now, I don't know half these people because I don't watch soaps and don't watch EastEnders and all that, so I don't know half of them. And next to that, we've got Chris Norley from The X Factor. Then we've got Dawn Lowe, who's an actress. And we've got Dave Gentry, who's a martial arts kickboxer. So this campaign poster went national in May this year. I spoke to Simon Sugar, who's the son of Lord Sugar, and basically spoke to him for hours and said, I need some money. So he donated £150,000, and that £150,000 got this national campaign poster put across the UK. It went through on-screen, and it went all across the UK on 5,000 screens to over 20 million people saw this advert. And they saw it through different media formats, platforms such as doctor surgeries, petrol forecourts. So if you're in your local news agency, you saw an ad screen, you probably would have seen this displayed on the ad screen. Excuse me, I've just had a really bad cold, so I'm just getting over a bad cold, so excuse me for start coughing. So, why an anti-bullying campaign? Well, I've been bullied for 35 years and 39 now, so from the age of 4 I was bullied. So I was bullied in junior school, high school. Junior school was really bad. There was lots of bullying going on. Because children can be so cruel. You know, when I was at school, I was very eccentric. I was alone and kept myself to myself. And children knew I was different, so that I was the target for being bullied. And then I actually thought, once I left junior school and into high school, I really thought the bullying would stop, but it didn't. It got worse. Because as children are growing up, getting older, they become more self-aware of others around them, and the bullying starts even more. So I was bullied in high school, really bad. It was horrendous at high school. But I think the reason why I was targeted because a lot of the children knew that my twin Sean used to go around in a wheelchair. So people, you know, started calling all horrible names such as spastic, mong, horrendous, you know, names and bullying. And my older brother Mark, he started kickboxing, and on a few occasions he did box through the lads to the ground, and he knocked him out. But if I didn't have that older brother, then it would have been really difficult for me, because, you know, I didn't have that older sibling who could, you know, act for me. So high school was really difficult. It was, you know, extremely difficult. And I remember when I was at school, we didn't have all these like year 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I think we've got to 20 now, haven't we, something like that. We only had 5 years, first, second, third, fourth and fifth year. And all through my 4 years of high school, it was really bad. And on the 5th year, before I was setting my GCSEs, my mum actually came into the school, because I remember being on the playground one day, and I had a major, well, I didn't know what it was, my parents didn't know what it was, but the right side of my body just completely froze, it shut down, and I was going all numb, all down one side. And the teacher came on the playground and took me into a small room and called for my mum, and my mum came into the school and she took me to the local A&E and been through all different tests, blood tests and everything, and the consultant said I had a very severe panic attack which caused all the numbness, all the pins and needles, and it was awful. And my mum then, she actually came into the school and addressed the headmaster and said if this bullying doesn't stop, she would take me out of the school and also she would take out my older brother. So the head teacher then, he addressed every single year in assembly and said if this bullying doesn't stop, he would expel every pupil. But for me then it was too late, the damage had been done. I went through 4 years of sheer bullying up to my GCSE exams, and even though I came out with about 8 GCSEs, I would have liked to come out with more better grades than that, and I think that was effectively damaged my exams because of the bullying. Because it affects the concentration, anxiety and everything. So after I left school I went into work and I became a salesperson, which is probably the worst job for someone in the autistic spectrum. But because of my background, my father's eye, she's got the gift of the gab and I have to follow footsteps. So I started selling £80 microwaves with £150 warranty on top of them, and the customers used to buy the warranty before they bought the product. And because I was a top salesperson on the company in the UK, I was targeted by the sales staff. I got bullied. They were jealous. They were jealous because I was earning more than that in commission. So I was targeted for bullying. So being bullied through junior school, high school, and being bullied in the workplace, I just thought, when is this going to end? And it doesn't. It hasn't ended. And a part of my life is spent on social networking sites such as Facebook, Twitter, and blog sites and different autism forums, and then I become the target of internet cyberbullying, trolls and stalking. And we live in an era now where bullying has taken twice-fold through normal physical bullying. Internet bullying is going so severe, where you hear even people who are not on the autistic spectrum, where children are committing suicide, hanging themselves at 12, 13, because they've been bullied on the net. This has to stop. I want it to stop, and I'll do everything in my damn power to make it stop, because I want yours, and I'm sure I will. Believe me, because I will not stop until I get these laws. Has anybody had a death threat? Put your hands up if you had a death threat. No? Nobody in the room's had a death threat? Well, I've had a death threat. And believe me, I don't like talking about it much because it really gets to me. It's one of the worst things you can ever have in your life, a death threat. I had my own business in 1994 and I was a victim of an armed robbery. I was held at gunpoint and knife point. A death threat is more worse than that. When somebody gets a death threat, it lives with you 24 hours, 7 days a week. When I had my own shop and got held at knife point and gunpoint, I walked away from that business. I sold my shop because I couldn't go back in that shop because of the traumatic experience. So I got rid of the shop, walked away from that business. When you receive a death threat, which I did, you can't walk away from it. It's with you every day. I got threatened through the internet via an email. Kevin, I need to kill you. I need to send a hit squad over to decapitate your legs. You won't be going out to the house. I didn't go out to the house for 3 months. I involved Staffordshire Police. They did nothing, absolutely nothing. I involved the offender from another country who sent me the death threat. I involved the police in the other country. They didn't do anything. International laws, jurisdictional laws don't work. If you get a death threat from another country, there's nothing you can do. There is absolutely nothing in the UK you can do. If you receive a death threat via email, text message, any form of telecommunications from another country, there is nothing you can do. There is no power. You're left on your own accord. Police weren't interested. The police weren't interested from the other country. There was absolutely nothing. I lived in fear, and I still live in fear to this day. I am still frightened to go out of my own house, and I'm autistic. And I fear every day, because I'm so scared of being killed by receiving this death threat. And I really sincerely hope that every single person in this room never ever experiences what I've experienced, because it's so hard. It really is. And I certainly want laws. Telecommunications Act, Harassment Act, hate crimes, they don't work. Does anybody remember the Fiona Pinkleton case which happened about 6 years ago? No? Nobody knows? Yeah, something in the background? Excellent. Well done. Fiona Pinkleton lived down south. Her and her mother hung themselves. They killed themselves because they were bullied. They reported it to the police 9 times through a hate crime system. The police did nothing. Not once, not 2, not 3, but 9 times. The police did absolutely nothing. The only way they could see out was by taking their own lives. This needs to stop now. It really does. I don't want to see anybody committing suicide, taking their own life. I've been there, believe me, and it's horrendous. I want not just national laws in the UK, I want international laws to protect people with autism. People with autism are so vulnerable, and laws need to happen. If yourself are autistic and you've never been bullied, you can't be sitting there thinking, well, you know, it doesn't really matter, I'll probably never get bullied, or it's never going to happen to me. But I sincerely hope it doesn't happen to anybody. So we started the campaign in April. We've got 24 celebrities supporting the campaign. Different types of celebrities who've got children with autism. We've got support from Lord Sugar and Simon Sugar, who donated 150,000 for the advertising for the first phase of the campaign. Like I say, over 20 million people have seen that through on screen. And we're going now on to a second phase of the campaign where we can do a national billboard campaign, and that'll go ahead around July. And on that campaign poster there's going to be parents of autistic children. And the reason why I want that on is because, you know, being bullied for 39 years, you know, I see children out there every day getting bullied, and I just want protection for them as well. You know, it's hard as an adult being bullied, but I just want protection for children as well. Because some children probably might not even be able to cope with it. You know, they take their own lives, and it really needs to stop. So this is what some of the celebrities have been saying. So we've got Emma Noble, who's got an autistic son. She says, as a mother of a child with autism, I know how bullying can destroy confidence in having a happy life. A life lived in fear is an off-and-lived life, which it truly is. Let's help and ensure people affected by autism live their lives to the full without intrusive and destructive bullies, because that's what they are. Bullies are cowards. They're just destructive, intrusive, they intrude your life. Holly Robinson Peets from Los Angeles said, I support Kevin's campaign for a global anti-autism bullying campaign to combat bullying in all genres. And Katie Price, she said, I support Kevin's campaign for an anti-autism bullying. So many people with autism get bullied, and I do not want my son Harvey to grow up and be bullied, and will not stand for it. Kevin is 38, or 39 now, and it's disgraceful and ignorant that narrow-minded people are bullying him and others. Children and adults with autism have enough to deal with on a daily basis without the mockery, which is totally uncalled for. That's Katie Price. So all these three people on the screen here, so Emma Noble's got a son with autism, Holly Robinson Pete's got a son with autism in LA, and Katie Price has got a son, Harvey, with autism. Now, Harvey's got a lot of difficulties as well as having autism, but this is just an example of vile trolling. We all know that Katie Price's son Harvey's got autism. 7 people on Twitter have sent Twitter accounts with Harvey Price's name. They put a profile picture of Harvey and they are impersonating him. And not just one, but 7 accounts. And they have been sending the most vile, horrendous tweets out, saying, I don't even want to repeat what they're saying about it. It's absolutely disgusting. They're sending nasty remarks out, insulting his disability, insulting his autism, sending out the most horrible, it's unimaginable. And the police won't do anything. These 7 accounts still remain on Twitter and are still active, and people are still tweeting out every day. So they've got a picture of Harvey Price and just sending out these horrendous tweets, and it's just so uncalled for. And I've had, even myself, I've had impersonation, people pretending to be me. You can only get one Kevin. I don't know why they have to impersonate me, and I don't know why they have to impersonate Harvey, who's got autism. Why do it? You know, these people have got nothing else to do, just to sit in front of the computer and just send out nasty, vile comments. So this is EDM 172. So this tells you a little bit about the EDM. Calling for a global anti-bullying autism campaign. Celebrities got involved such as Ricky Gervais, Katie Price, Melanie Sykes, concern the findings of the National Autistic Society. So the research which the NAS have done, the survey revealed that 81% of respondents had an experience of verbal abuse. So people on the spectrum are being verbal abused through bullying. 81%, it's quite high statistics, that 81% of people on the spectrum being targeted. 24% of them are being victims of cyberbullying. And finally, calls on the government to review urgently the legislation and the police recording system of disability hate crimes. Because the hate crime system in the UK doesn't work. The only place where the hate crime system does work is in Manchester. Now, Manchester Metropolitan Police, there was a series about 8 months ago where goths and punks were being bullied. A lot of goths and groups of goths and punks were being really bullied. And these groups of goths and punks all pulled together and said, look, we need a system, a better system in place. So now there's been a law passed in just in Manchester region where if any goths or punks are being bullied, they get prosecuted. So they either get a sentence or they get an heavy fine. So if we can have that for goths and punks in Manchester, why can't we have it for people with autism? Doesn't it not make sense? So it can happen in Manchester, so I'm sure, you know, it'll happen in the UK. Well, it will happen. Not that it won't. So, this is Brett. Do you have Brett in the room? Is Brett in the room? No? He's not come today? Maybe around somewhere. But Brett, who I've been speaking to on Facebook and Twitter, is involved in the campaign now, and there's another parent named Joe. So that's his son there. His son is around about 5 years old. His name's Isaac, and Brett really fears for his son's future. He is so scared about his son growing up in the autism world, or just in the world generally, being bullied. And he wants laws in place for his son. So, this is the second part of the national billboard. This is just a draft version. So, basically, Jo will be pulled down from there and she'll be placed this side. So there'll be Jo with her son Tom, this side of the campaign poster, myself, and Brett with his son Isaac. And this national campaign poster will be going around national billboards around the UK, so people will see this. So basically it says on this, I'm not sure if you can see it, but it says, too many people with autism are suffering in silence. Cyberbullying, trolling, stalking and verbal abuse. And just below that, it says, just on this side over here, it says, we want bullying laws now for our children's future, Brett and Tom. So they're asking for bullying laws. My quote here says, after 35 years of bullying, I want it stopped now, not tomorrow. I want it stopped now. Believe me, I will get laws, because they're going to get sick of hearing me. MPs are just going to get so fed up. Because I won't bang on one door, I'll bang on 1,000 doors until they hear me. Because I will not give up. Until I draw my last breath on this planet, I will make sure everything in my power, I will get laws. So this will be going out middle of July, end of July, and this will be going through the Clear Channel Network on digital big 48-page billboard screens. That's the bullying campaign logo. There's a website there, you can go on there, you can read all the quotes from celebrities. And that's the website address, autism-campaign.co.uk. That's my Twitter account, Kevin_Healey. There's a Facebook page as well, so if you Google or go onto Facebook and just type in anti-autism bullying, you can see it there. Everybody should have a flyer on their chair, so all the full details are on the flyer. This is the tweet storm which we've got, which runs every Thursday at 7 PM. So we have a live Q&A which runs from 7 PM for a full hour every Thursday from 7 to 8 o'clock. And excuse me, just by using that hashtag there, Kev's Autism Campaign, when you send out a tweet, just include that hashtag. The more people who tweet about it on Twitter during that hour period, the more it can get trendied on Twitter. And I think we've got about 5 minutes if there's any questions or answers. If you want to put your hand up, any questions around bullying, children bullying, adult bullying, anything about laws, I've become an expert on it now. So if you want to ask any questions, feel free to put your hand up. I don't mind what question it is, you can ask any questions about bullying or anything. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, so the question was, it shouldn't be all down, he said, what can be done? She's autistic and she's been bullied, and what can be done in school? I think what mum needs is this your mum? Yeah, I think what mum needs to do is go into the school and address it, and do what my mum did. Go into the school and say, if this bullying doesn't stop, be assertive with it. Yeah, so basically going into the school and say, you know, if this bullying doesn't stop, I'll pull my daughter out of the school. In a special school. So is the bullying still happening in the special school? It's a mainstream school, yeah. Yeah, and I think even in special schools, bullying still happens in special schools. But well, that still don't stop now. Yeah.
General public tend to be unaware of exactly what autism is. So because of that, how much bullying occurs because children just say different.
I think a lot of it happens. You know, the research which the NAS have done just shows that people with autism, there's 81% of bullying going on. So there's lots of bullying going on in schools, in the workplace, you know, in universities, colleges. So does that answer the question?
Sorry, how would that compare, say, with national statistics generally? Children without autism being bullied, do we know what those statistics are?
There's no statistics being carried out with neurotypical children as opposed to people with autism. I think with disabilities, learning disabilities, autism, Downs, whatever, I think there's a more high correlation rate around people being bullied. I know the next speaker is a psychologist is talking about bullying in children, so we may have some statistics there, so we may go on with that one. But I think there is a lot more than neurotypical. I think it's just a question just behind.
Hi, I'm from special school. We were just wondering if you'd be interested to come into schools to talk about your campaign to other children.
Yeah, at the moment I've been absolutely inundated through different schools, universities across the country. Can I come in? At the moment I'm saying no. The reason why is because I'm focusing on the billboard campaign. We want to try and go to national TV. I want to go to across in America as well. You know, because it's not just a national campaign, it's a global campaign. Because when we're receiving a death threat from a different country, we need international laws in different countries, so that stops. So maybe in the future, yes. I know other people like Anna Kennedy and Joe DeMarsh, they're going around schools. So maybe if you approach Joe DeMarsh and Anna Kennedy, they may all go into schools and do some awareness raising there. But at the moment, I won't be, because I'm focusing more on the media side of the campaign to raise the awareness globally, which is quite a big job. Yeah, okay, so I can't take any more questions now because we've got the next speaker coming on, so thank you very much. Thanks.